Hello, hockey fans! Welcome back on in to the neutral zone here on Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sport. Whoa! What a way for the first round to finish out of the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Not one, but two electric Game 7s. Either one of those could easily have been the perfect cherry on top to the playoffs, but instead we got both of them. Electric third period comeback, ones that we'll be talking about for years to come, with calmness in fan bases and with utter total dismay in two other cities. Is there anything that can go on in round two that will top it? I don't know, but my answer is still going to be yes. We also had the draft lottery last night. We know the order now for those teams not in the playoffs. And we've got another league starting its playoffs tomorrow. The PWHL semifinals are about to start. We got a ton to get through and only an hour to do it. This is the neutral zone. Buckle on up. Get ready to crash the boards, attack the zone, protect the 5-hole. Let's go. And good evening, good evening all, and welcome back on into the neutral zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. I am your host, Adam Karnick. Zach Puplis will be along with us a little later on tonight. He's got some other things going on as well, but he will join us a little later on. Whoa, what a weekend of hockey that we had. It was only 2 games, but they were 2 instant classics. We will go back and look back at the Game 7s that were, the way the Central Division semifinals went down, and how either of those teams can possibly get settled back in to start up a new series here in just about 24 hours from now. We've got a game going on tonight we will check in on. We've got another one getting set to drop the puck, probably realistically about 40 minutes from now as well, that will get you caught up and set the stage for that a little bit. The NHL Draft Lottery was last night. There was drama in that. We will go over the Islanders' unexpected win and how the rest of the lottery then shook out, what the first round will look like for everybody, why it will look the way that it does, and then possibly some names to keep an eye on as we get a little bit into draft season here for those teams not involved in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And then we'll set the stage also as the PWHL semifinals are set to begin tomorrow night as well. So much hockey, only so little time. This is the Neutral Zone on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. We will be right back after this. IE Sports Radio fans, this show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
rise and shine. It's 4 a.m. The stars are still out. The sun is beneath the horizon, but it's time to punch in and go to work. The comfort of your warm-ups turns into the grinding out of your reps as the clinking and the clanking of the plates create a symphony of euphoria. There's no other feeling like it. Earn it, burn it, and take what's yours. IE Sports Radio has proudly partnered with Vital Apparel, a brand that not only fits great, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. Use our code IESR to get 15% off their comfortable and inspiring gym wear and help them on their amazing journey to support mental health. Go hard, take part in your iron therapy, and be strong. Because when your mental health is as strong as you are, there's no telling how far you'll go.
Hey there, IE Sports Radio fans. Be sure to check out our sponsor, Seal the Deal Wax Seals by Cecilia B. You just finished your very own wedding or baby shower invitations and you're looking for that extra special touch? Maybe you just wrote a letter to a relative or a friend and you want to add to their smile when they receive it. Then seal the deal with Cecilia's handmade sealing wax stamps for your invitations, letters, and gifts. You bring the deal, we'll bring the seal. You can find them on Instagram at sealthedeal_wax stamps and on Facebook, Seal the Deal Wax Seals.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Want to say thank you once again to each one of our sponsors there: Planet Jerky, Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, Vital Apparel, Seal the Deal, Wax Seals, and of course, IE Sports Radio for providing the platform that makes this and all other shows on the network possible. You heard how to follow along with the station there on social media: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube. Just follow along at IE Sports Radio. And on YouTube, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're a new subscriber, just drop us a little comment. Let us know that you are subscribing and just say, I subscribe because of the Neutral Zone. We appreciate that. Makes us feel a little better. Gives us a little feather in our cap against the other shows. But you can also follow along this show and the hosts here as well. We are available for you on social media. This show is available at IESR Neutral Zone on Twitter. I personally am at Adam _Karnick. Zach is at the Pupless. You can follow along with both of us on social media. And if you're listening live here tonight, watching, following along across YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, hello. Glad that you are here. Buckle it on in. Let's have some fun. Drop us a comment. Let us know that you are here and watching. Jen B is here. Have a great show. Larry B, hockey time. Yes, the playoffs absolutely are getting intense. Ralph Calise is here as well. Good evening. Best hockey podcast around. Thank you, Ralph. We try our best. We try to have some fun with it. These playoffs have absolutely been great. Yeah, that Winnipeg St. Louis game, we're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. That was an incredible game. Indeed, yeah, that game 7, tough to top that one. Absolutely. That was an all-timer. We're going to get into those a little bit here as well tonight. We're absolutely going to be discussing those game 7s. But first, we do want to start off. We always start off the show getting you caught up on all the scores going on around the league. Now, right now, of course, there's only one game going on right now in the NHL. Game 1 of the round 2 match. I'm still choosing to call these the divisional finals. I know that technically this is round 2, that there's not really an official name for each of these rounds other than the Stanley Cup, the Stanley Cup finals, and then the conference finals. I don't care. I'm still choosing to call this second round the divisional final round. So over in the Metropolitan round 1 of game 1, of the Metropolitan final, we've got the Capitals on top of the Hurricanes 1-0 with 16 minutes and change left to go in the game. Hurricanes have absolutely been in command of this game. It has been the Hurricanes' MO throughout this championship window that they've been in for the last 6-7 years or so, that their idea of playing defense is just to play puck possession, that you can't score if you don't have the puck. And it has served them well through a lot of their time, but it's not working tonight. The Hurricanes out shooting the Capitals 25-11 at this point. In fact, we're 4 minutes into the third period, and the Capitals have yet to attempt a shot here in the third period. The Capitals are on a penalty kill right now, but Logan Thompson just continues to be that stalwart in net. When you've got a hot goaltender, that'll make up for a lot of things. You don't have to score very many when your goalie is not letting anything past him. So despite being outshot 25-11 to this point in the game, and both teams with 4 minutes of power play action to this point in the game, it is 1-0 Washington. Alexei Protas, his first goal of the postseason, the difference maker right now, early in the second period. That right now is the difference maker between the Capitals and the Hurricanes. Oh, this Larry B. I love this season. Yeah, for hockey, this is the wonderful time of the year. Absolutely. We've also got coming up a little bit later tonight, officially 9:30 Eastern, but we all know how that works, that in reality, it'll probably be more like 9:45 Eastern time, 6:45 out west. The Edmonton Oilers and the Las Vegas Golden Knights will drop the puck to start their Pacific Division final here out in Las Vegas. Oilers, that was also a tremendous first round series by the Oilers. We're not going to talk a whole lot about it tonight because we discussed it the last couple of weeks, but what a job by the Oilers coming back from being down 0-2 to the Kings. And a couple different times it looked like they were going to be down either 0-3 or 1-3, and instead do the extra delayed sweep of the Kings to survive on. The Golden Knights, meanwhile, they kind of took care of business against the Wild and got a little bit of extra time before starting this series tonight. So we've got the Pacific Division finals starting here a little bit later on tonight as well. But we'll get you started on that as we get a little bit closer to puck drop. That'll be probably about a half hour from now. Instead, we have got to talk about the two games this weekend. Game 7 is always exciting and dramatic, really regardless of the sport. It could be basketball, it could be baseball, but let's be honest, let's be real about this here for a moment. It's different in hockey, and in my opinion, it is best in hockey. No other North American sport does Game 7 better than the National Hockey League. The intensity is always ratcheted up that extra notch for Game 7, and the product that you wind up seeing is always top notch, top flight stuff. And the two games that we got this weekend were absolutely no exception. They were, ironically enough, they were the 199th and the 200th Game 7s in NHL playoff history, and neither one of them disappointed in really any way out there on the ice. We'll start with the game Saturday night between the Avalanche and the Stars. The Avalanche had really played a very strong, very solid game through the first two periods, leading very modestly 1-0, but leading nonetheless. And then right away at the start of the third period, jumping out to a 2-0 lead. And you could feel it. You really could feel it in Dallas that the tension was getting up, that there was a lot of nervous energy in the building, and it was, this could go bad. Ottinger played a really strong game, but a couple, a power play goal gets past him, and then Nathan McKinnon beat him. There's no shame in that if you're Ottinger, but it's Game 7. You've been here before, you've conquered this before, yet it's not looking good. And then Mikko Rantanen, of all the guys to get it started, Mikko Rantanen, because remember, of course, just 3 months ago, Rantanen was playing for Colorado, and then the trade goes down. He gets sent from the Avs over to division rival Stars, and you've got then that part of it, and it's Mikko Rantanen, of all players, who winds up jump-starting the whole process, scoring back-to-back goals to get the Stars on the board, and then also to get the game tied. I'm pulling up his numbers from the regular season here. Excuse me just a moment while I get that pulled up. Rantanen here in the regular season between the two clubs, he had a grand total of 5 goals, period, in the regular season, then getting 2 in Game 7 to get things tied up. And then the ultimate, the game winner, Wyatt Johnson on the power play gets the Stars the lead, and then Rantanen completes his hat trick with the empty netter to seal the deal for the Stars. A terrific and tremendous Game 7 between Dallas and Colorado. And you could have said right there, hey, all right, that was a fantastic and amazing Game 7. It really doesn't matter what happens on Sunday night. We're still going to be feeling really good about this. We are going to be absolutely happy and satisfied with this weekend of hockey. But then Sunday happened. Then Sunday night happened. The Winnipeg Jets. The funny thing about this series between the Blues and the Jets, more than seemingly any other of the series that we had in the first round, this was the chalkiest. And this was also the one that it was confusing why it was so chalky. Winnipeg played so well at home. And then you'd go to St. Louis, and Connor Hellebuck couldn't stop anything there in St. Louis. The Blues were untouchable. Through the first 6 games, the home team won every single game in this series. And then you got to Game 7, and St. Louis led the entire way. And in fact, got all the way up to 3-1 at the end of 2. And held that 3-1 lead all the way to under 2 minutes remaining in the game. And you're thinking, if you're the Jets in some ways are starting to feel like the new version of the Toronto Maple Leafs, where it's all right, we can be fantastic in the regular season. We can do all the things. Connor Hellebuck can absolutely be the man. But then you get into the first round and you can't push through that glass ceiling. Just not one iota. No way out. And then with 1:55 left, Vladislav Nemitsnikov gets one in. Solves Jordan Binnington. And now things get interesting. Now things get fun. Now we're pulling goalies. We're throwing everything but the kitchen sink at it. We're just playing out of our minds, whiffing on shots, making sure that the puck gets moved, that the cycle just never stops. And with 1.6 seconds left in regulation, Cole Perfetti, his second goal of the night, gets the job done and saves Winnipeg's season. Just an insane goal, an unbelievable shot. And if you're Jordan Binnington, I don't know what's going through your head at that point, that you are 1.5 seconds away from moving on to round 2. And instead, now you've got to go to overtime. First overtime, both teams played tremendously well. It winds up going into the double overtime, the second overtime. And then Adam Lowry on a beautiful tip in that Binnington really, it's one he wants back, but it's also another one where it's what are you going to do? And the Jets move on and advance to the Central Division Final, round 2. Winnipeg played with just five active defensive skaters, basically the entire game in that one. Neil Pionk, a Herculean effort in that game, over 45 minutes of ice time for the Jets. You got to do what you got to do a lot of times out there. The Jets, 47 shots on net. Jordan Binnington had nothing to hang his head over, or be upset about in that game, other than if he just makes one more save at the end of regulation. It's instead St. Louis that's moving on instead of Winnipeg. Instead, an all-time instant classic. What a terrific game. As we look at these, the thought came to mind for me that the old saying of a 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey. And in both of these games, both with St. Louis and Winnipeg, and also Colorado and Dallas, you had a team have a 2-goal lead in the third period. In one game, you were starting with a 2-goal lead. In the other one, you achieved a 2-goal lead very early into the third period. And in both cases, that lead evaporated. There was nothing you can do. After achieving that 2-goal lead, both teams that had it didn't score the rest of the way. Very impressive. Entertaining as all get out. Just terrific hockey. Now, what's next is, so now we're on to round 2. Now we're on to the divisional final round. Can you possibly top the way round 1, the division semifinal round? Can you possibly top how that ended? I don't know how, but I'm going to say yes, that somehow it will. I don't know how. I don't know what's going to happen in any of these series, but somehow we'll get something dramatic and exciting and altogether unbelievable in one of these series. So looking at the series going on, of course, we've got in the Metro, we've got the Hurricanes and the Capitals going on right now. We've had the Atlantic Division final already get started. Toronto, a terrific start against Florida, jumping out to a huge lead and then holding on to win 5-4 last night. We'll see what is going to be in store for Stolarz, as he was injured partway through that game. Sam Bennett running into Anthony Stolarz, the Toronto Maple Leafs goalie. We'll see if Stolarz is able to play tomorrow night. I haven't seen any updates from Toronto yet. I'm sure we'll absolutely get stuff tomorrow ahead of the game. But Toronto, an excellent start in game 1. Jumped out to a quick and early lead in that game. Dominated the first period, out shooting Florida 13-4. The Panthers, we think about with the Panthers all the time about how they like to just play ferocious defense. Toronto just kept the puck moving and kept things going. The ice tilted a little bit after that, but after that, the Maple Leafs able to hold on and win game 1. So great series shaping up there. We've got Vegas and Edmonton starting tonight. And then we'll have the Central Division final starting tomorrow between the Jets and the Stars. That could, in some ways, that could be the best series that we get of this round. Both teams, obviously, huge emotional highs of winning game sevens. Both of those at home, the top two teams in the Central Division. They've never met in the playoffs before, so there'll be some new energy there, some new dynamics going on there. That could be the series of this round. Great stuff. It'll be a lot of fun to keep an eye on as we're looking at it, and as we're getting ready to call it. I'm going to say from these, I still like Toronto. I will take Toronto. I think that this is the year that the Maple Leafs kind of get the monkey off their backs a little bit. I will actually take Toronto over Florida. I like Washington over Carolina as we check in on that one. It is tied at 1 apiece. The Hurricanes finally have gotten one in. So we are a tie game with just over 6 minutes, left in regulation on that one. Hurricanes dominating the shots on net, 31-13. I'll still take the Capitals, though. I think the Capitals can get it done. They can win that one. Edmonton is still Edmonton. I like the Oilers in that one, and I will go with the Jets over the Stars. I've gone back and forth between the Jets and Stars a lot during these playoffs. I will say it right now. I'll say Winnipeg. So looking at winners right now, the three Canadian teams and the Capitals moving on in these series. All right. Speaking of moving on, we are going to move on as well. We are going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we will talk about the NHL Draft Lottery. The teams that aren't in the playoffs, there was still stuff going on for them. We will break that down, and there was drama there as well. This is the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Be right back after this.
Are you a Tar Heel, Blue Devil, Demon Deacon, or maybe even a Gamecock? Do you cheer for the Panthers, the Canes, the Crown? And check out the Carolina Sports Update every week with me, Neil Curtis, to get the latest and greatest on all the sports action in the Carolinas. We'll be talking pro sports, ACC and SEC football, basketball, baseball, and everything in between. We'll even talk a little Formula One racing now and again. So, for the best hour of Carolina sports coverage, catch me each week on Carolina Sports Update with Neil Curtis, right here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
Hey sports fans, do you like wine? Well, we've got the show for you. This is Let's Wine About Sports, a show where we talk about wine and sports simultaneously. From the classic Cabernet Sauvignon all the way down to the grapes that you've never even heard of before. Oh yeah, we cover it all. And we'll talk about a little bit of sports as well. Football, hockey, collegiate, women's sports, it doesn't matter. We're going to talk about it all, and we're going to whine about it all. So join me Monday at 8 p.m. on IU Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back on into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Adam Karnick back with you here. So we had a lot of fun reminiscing about the games over the weekend, the terrific game sevens that we had, and previewed a couple of series, the second round series that are all getting underway right now. But for the teams that aren't in the playoffs, there's still stuff to be talking about. There's still things going on. The NHL Draft Lottery was last night, and that also had some great drama and intensity to it. So a quick kind of reminder of how this works for everybody. So they with the way the lottery works, they pick the top 2 spots in the draft. Every team that fails to qualify for the playoffs is eligible and is in the lottery, but all you can do is move up a maximum of 10 spots from wherever you were. Jen B pointing out that she wasn't a big fan of the results of the NHL lottery. And I can understand that, because while every team has the opportunity to move up, it also does mean that some teams very possibly, quite possibly, are going to move down, because if somebody's moving up, then that means that somebody else is almost certainly going to be moving down as a result. Now, last year, there was virtually no excitement about it. The San Jose Sharks had the best chance to get the number 1 overall pick, and they got the number 1 overall pick. The Blackhawks had the best chance of winding up with the number 2 overall pick, and they wound up with the number 2 overall pick. So last year, it wasn't all that exciting, wasn't all that interesting, wasn't all that dramatic. This year, totally different. The New York Islanders came out of the lottery. They had a 3.5% chance of landing the top spot, but instead the ping pong balls landed their way. They had the good fortune to move all the way up to the number 1 overall spot. They moved up basically from 10 all the way to 1. And in the process, that bumped everybody else down. With the second pick, that one was also a doozy. The Utah Hockey Club won the 2nd overall pick, but because they were sitting at 14, all they could do is move up to 4. Remember, that's the maximum that you can move up, is 10 spots. So those teams that were sitting at 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, they all had, no chance of getting up to 1. And only the team sitting at 12 had any chance of actually moving up to 2. So with Utah getting picked 2nd, the hockey club moves up to 4. And so now our draft order for the top 14 now looks the Islanders at 1, San Jose at 2, San Jose falls from 1 to 2, Chicago falls from 2 to 3, Utah jumps all the way up to 4, Nashville falls to 5. Nashville would have been 3. They fall to 5. Then Philadelphia, Boston, Seattle, Buffalo, Anaheim, Pittsburgh, the Rangers, Detroit, and then Columbus falls to 14th overall in the lottery. So who might the Islanders be targeting? Well, it's hard to know because the Islanders don't have a general manager currently. They got to solve that first. But what a selling point. You want to go be a general manager in the hockey league, in the National Hockey League. Well, here's a great starting piece for you. You can have the number 1 overall pick in the draft as your very first draft with the team. You'll like that. There's a few different names out there being bandied about for who could wind up going where. This isn't the most lucrative of NHL drafts. You don't have a Connor Bedard. You don't, there's no Connor Bedard. There's no Macklin Celebrini in this draft. There's no Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby. It doesn't have the big compelling names at the top. And that's not to say that none of these kids won't turn into anything. I don't want to say that, all these kids are going to be busts or anything like that. But there's just not quite the people that are, oh my gosh, this is a can't miss. This is somebody you've absolutely got to go out, and everybody's trying to, we know who the number 1 overall pick is going to be, kind of a thing that we've known for the last couple of years. It's just waiting for these players to turn 18 so that they can become eligible. You've got sitting at the top. One of the big names we've heard a lot is Michael Misa from Canada. Also another very, very highly touted prospect, also from Canada, defenseman Matthew Schaefer. That's somebody else who could go 1. If you're looking US, probably the best guy that you're going to see is James Higgins out of Boston College. We'll see. That's probably going to be your top US skater taken. So a few different names there, a few different guys that could wind up being targeted. And speaking of names that we could see, look who's hopping in and joining the show. It's Zach Puplis. Good evening, Zach. How are you, sir? Oh, as we had the connection and now we lost the connection. We'll try to reset. There he is. How you doing, Zach? Oh, are you able to hear me? I can hear Zach, but I don't know if he can hear us. We'll work on continuing to establish that connection as Zach is getting ready to hop into the show here. We can go through his notebook. I know he's got some things and topics for tonight as well. So a couple different targets for the draft. Now, obviously, we'll keep an eye on this as things go and as things project out. And obviously, as the playoffs start to wind down, we'll have a little bit better idea of everybody that we'll have a better idea of what everybody's thinking and what everybody's projecting. Everybody's projecting in there as well, but some good stuff. And the Islanders jumping all the way up to number 1 overall, winning the lottery, having some good stuff there. We're going to take one more break, but then the NHL's not the only league that is starting up its playoffs right now. We've got some semifinals that are set to begin in the PWHL tomorrow night. We will break down and talk about the 2 playoff series going on in the PWHL next. This is the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
What's up, New York? This is Ricky K coming at you at the NY State of Sports, a new show here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Listen to me every Thursday afternoon as we bring you the latest takes on the Yankees, Mets, Jets, Giants, Knicks, Nets, Rangers, Devils, and Islanders. Plus, you get some college hoops and what's the local sports events going on in the area. It's a state that never sleeps, so why not get the opinions and sports takes that never sleep? Again, every Thursday, 2 p.m. to the NY State of Sports. We'll see you then.
Hello, ladies and sinners. Hello, sports fans around the world. Hello, IE Sports family. This is Cale Henderson, the host of IE Vegas, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio. If you folks are interested in sports in the Vegas area, if you're wanting to have a blast for 1 hour, every Tuesday night from 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, this is a show built for the Vegas sports fans, where we feature the Las Vegas Raiders, the Las Vegas Golden Knights, the Las Vegas Aces, and the University of Las Vegas, Nevada Rebels. Hopefully, fingers crossed, MLB team coming soon. Either way, if you folks are looking to have a blast for 1 hour each and every week, tune in Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you folks are interested in Vegas sports news, go to our Twitter at SinCities_IESR, and you can speak with me, the host, Cale Henderson, at Cale_Henderson on Twitter at any time. Be happy to reply. Always want to reach out to our fans. Again, the Sin City Sports Show, presented by IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports.
And welcome back into the Neutral Zone here on IE Sports Radio, your direct feed for all that is sports. Hey, Zach, you're able to join us.
Hi, how are you doing, Adam?
Doing all right. Doing all right. Glad we got that connection issue all cleared up and taken care of.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. So as we're jumping in here to the end of the show. So we've been talking a lot of NHL primarily, but they're not the only playoffs going on. Starting tomorrow night, we have the semifinals in the PWHL getting ready to take place. The PWHL had its regular season come to a close this weekend. We had the defending champion Minnesota Frost needed a win to get in. They absolutely blasted the Boston Fleet 8-1 to get into to ensure their spot into the playoffs and make sure that the defending champions would return to the playoffs and get an opportunity to defend their crown, defend their title. Otherwise, we've got an all-Canadian field in this tournament. We've got Minnesota, and then we've got Montreal, which finished with the best record in the PWHL. We've got the Ottawa Charge. We've got and we've got the Toronto Scepters in the PWHL playoffs.
Oh, can you hear me?
And yep, got you now.
Okay, go ahead.
There we go. Absolutely got you now. And one of the fun little differences that the PWHL does is rather than just do straight 1 plays 4 and 2 plays 3, Montreal finished with the best record in the regular season. So Montreal got to pick its first round opponent, and the Victory chose for their first round opponent the Ottawa Charge. So they will play Ottawa, even though Ottawa was the 3 seed. They'll take on the Ottawa Charge, meaning that we then have the Toronto Scepters taking on the defending champion and 4th place finisher Minnesota Frost in the first round. What do you think, first of all, of that little gimmick that they do, where it's the best team in the league gets to pick its own opponent?
Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Okay, good. No, I like that. That's really interesting. It's a different twist on the playoffs, different from everybody else, and just adds a little bit more intrigue to it, as opposed to you automatically know what the pairings are. It's almost like a little, kind of like from back around playground days when you're, oh, I pick you number 1 and I pick you number 1.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Absolutely. That's how it works. I like that. I like that a lot too, that it's you, and it adds a little intrigue too. Cause let's face it, if you're Ottawa, there's a little bit of, there's a little bit of, hey, they picked us. That means they think that we're the easier opponent. I'm not sure how, I don't know that I necessarily like that. I'm not sure how I'd feel about that if I'm then. I think I'd take a little umbrage at that, I think, if I'm then.
Right. I'll bet you they're going to play with the chip on their shoulder.
Yep, exactly. A little bit, just a little bit, not like, okay, all right. Oh, they're no respect. I mean, let's face it. Every team ever, with any coach or leadership worth its salt, will always figure out a way to, push that button of, play the no respect card. They don't respect us. Nobody believes in you. We're, outside of this room, nobody believes in us. We're the only ones. But, there is definitely something to that, where it's, hey, they picked us in this series. Now let's go out and show them why that was a mistake to do that.
Right.
And then in the other semifinal series, we've got the Scepters versus the Frost. The Frost, the defending PWHL champions, they needed the win on Saturday to ensure themselves a spot. They were in control of their own destiny, but it was still, they had to take care of business, and they took care of business in a huge way on Saturday, absolutely destroying the Boston Fleet, which that was the championship matchup a year ago, Minnesota versus Boston. And instead, so it's Boston that winds up on the outside looking in and missing the playoffs after making it all the way to the championship a season ago. So we've got the schedule. They're going to do this smartly. They're going to do this correctly, in my opinion. We're going to start with, each series will have its own day. They won't try to stack them both on the same day. All the series all three of the playoff series, the 2 semifinal series and the championship. They're best of 5. We've got Minnesota and Toronto starting tomorrow, and they'll be Wednesday and Friday. And then Ottawa starts at Montreal on Thursday. And both teams will play on Sunday. So we do have a doubleheader action going on Sunday, but otherwise during the week they are their own unique days. So you're not stacking them on top of each other. So Zach, do you want to make a prediction here for the PWHL of who we see winding up in the championship for the PWHL? Oh, he's thinking it over. He's considering his options. I'll tell you who I like to wind up in the championship for the PWHL. I think we're going to have Montreal end up beating Ottawa. They were the best scoring team in the league all year, and I think Montreal's going to be tough to beat. But then I like Minnesota. I like the Frost. They did it. This is very similar to how Minnesota did it a year ago, that they got in late. I can't remember if they were the 4 or the 3 seed getting in, but they were one of the bottom 2 seeds, but then they wound up on an excellent run through the playoffs and wound up winning the championship. So I think we're going to see Montreal versus Minnesota for the PWHL championship. And then we'll see how that shapes up and how that rounds out from there. And it looks like we may have lost Zach. Well, we'll give him a chance to reconnect here, as the Hurricanes and Capitals are headed for overtime in game 1 of their series. So that late goal by Lonkin Stankonoff just about halfway through the third period holds up the Hurricanes again, just absolutely demolishing the Capitals' shots on net, 31-14. But the only ones that count ultimately are the ones that go into the net, not just on the net, but into the net. And so at the end of regulation, we are tied at 1. Meanwhile, the Oilers and the Golden Knights, they have gotten started, and the Golden Knights, a great start to the game for them. Vegas already up 1-0. Just 2 minutes into the game, Mark Stone converted a power play, and the Golden Knights, they're on the power play again. So with an opportunity here to very, very, very quickly put Edmonton behind 2-0 here in game 1 of that series. We'll keep you up on those as well. Well, that is going to do it for our show here tonight. Big shout out and thank yous, of course, to each and every one of our sponsors. Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet. Go to planetjerky.net to place your order. They are still offering free shipping on all orders of $50 and above. Thank you also to Vital Apparel, the brand that not only fits Greg, but also promotes and donates to mental health research. When you go to vitalapparel.com, use the promo code IESR to get 15% off of your order there. Also, thank you to Seal the Deal Wax Seals. You're going to be sending out graduation invitations or first communion or confirmation, all kinds of different things that you'll be putting in the mail, or heck, you just want to have your own personal seal of approval. Well, go to iesportsradio.com/steal-the-deal-wax-deals, and Cecilia will help you personalize and design your own unique stamp and seal of approval. And of course, thank you to IE Sports Radio for providing the platform for this show. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube at IE Sports Radio. And when you follow us on YouTube, please be sure to like and subscribe, and just drop a comment in letting us know that you subscribed because you saw the Neutral Zone. It gives us a little feather in our cap and makes us feel good about it. We thank you for that. Thank you to everybody that kept us busy in the chat room here tonight. Jen D, Larry B, Ralph Elise. Thank you to each and every one of you there. Thank you to the 330 people that were checking out the show live tonight across YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We really appreciate that. We do this every Tuesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time, all during the hockey season. We'll be right back here same time next week. And to anybody that is catching the show later as a podcast, thank you as well. We really appreciate you coming here. For Zach, I, and Adam, together we do this thing called the Neutral Zone. Until next week, we'll see you later. Have a great night, everybody.